Hello people and welcome to another video. So title of the video is telling you it looks like I have like super foundation lips, and I swear to you I don't. That's not what this colour looked like originally. I think it may be the light. Look dead. Is it the light? Let me just, because that doesn't look that dark. Like, it looks darker in life. What the fuck's happening? From the title of this video, it is a summer favourites, and of all the things on this list, half of them are films, and that is I never brought it with me, but that is because I am a Cineworld Unlimited member. I have been since 2012. I would show you the card, as I said, but I forgot to bring it to this location and I'm too lazy to get up. And that is actually one of my favourites, especially for the summer when there's usually a lot of summer blockbusters. So movies, we'll get on. So the first one, Wonder Woman. Woo! What I'm going to do is basically go on IMDb on my phone and tell you the synopsis of it and then tell you how I feel. So, when a pilot crashes and tells conflict in the outside world, Diana, an Amazonian warrior in training, leaves home to fight a war, discovering her full powers and true destiny. I absolutely loved Wonder Woman. I thought that of all the DC films of recent times, it was above and beyond the best. I don't know what's happening with this sleeve. It was just far superior to any other DC film. Like, it was so superb. Like, I'm all for Yaya sisterhood. Like, obviously the director of the film was female, and Gal Gadot, who I think it's Gal Gadot, who is Wonder Woman, is just, she's so amazing. I think she's one of my summer favourites. Like, I'm so kind of infatuated with her. She just seems like and she just plays Diana like a beautifully strong person, but who's flawed, you know, and it's just so good to finally have a good representation of a female in a super like hero film. The next is B-A-B-Y, baby, as in Baby Driver. Love Edgar Wright. I think Edgar Wright is a phenomenal writer and director. Obviously he did the Cornetto trilogy, which is Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead and The World's End. He also did Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He is just a fantastic director, and I love, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Scott Pilgrim. That's probably my least favourite out of his films, but of everything he's done, he's just phenomenal. And I think underrated until this film, and then everybody's like, damn, Edgar Wright is so good. But anyway, after being coerced into working for a crime boss, a young getaway driver finds himself taking part in a heist doomed to fail. This film is solely driven by the soundtrack. So apparently when like people signed onto the film, Edgar gave them the script and a little like memory stick, and so they listened to the music that the film was going through whilst, you know, things. So everything was done to the beat. The opening scene was phenomenal. That first getaway drive, Ansel Elgort whilst is just a babe, but honestly, all the time I was just watching Ansel, I'm like, he has really, really like big kissable lips. Like, I know that's a really obscure observation, but I don't know how to describe, like, but it's just phenomenal. And having this uprise of really decent soundtracks again for films, you know, is great. And the fact that this whole movie is driven by the soundtrack, pun intended, and it was just so clever. And it's one of those, I know I've listened to several interviews Edgar Wright's done, and it was kind of, he's been sitting on this dream of making this film for like 20 years. So it's a real passion project for him. And I know it is something that he's always wanted to do, a getaway film, like a heist film, and do like getaway drives, and like arguably one of the coolest things, you know, to do, getting away with something and like doing donuts and whatever, and you can really tell like the cinematography when it comes to the Getaway Drivers is just phenomenal. So bravo Edgar Wright, and the Baby Driver is just phenomenal. The next, do I have to read the blurb for this? I feel like I don't, but Spider-Man Homecoming! Woo! Yeah! I'm not going to read the blurb for this one. Spider-Man Homecoming isn't one of my favourites because A, I love Spider-Man, B, I love Marvel, and C, the fact that he has got a decent place in the MCU makes me extraordinarily happy. Also, the fact that finally Spider-Man is the correct age. I know Tom Holland is actually, like, I think Spider-Man, though, Peter Parker was 15 in this film, and I'm assuming Tom was 19, 20 when they filmed this, so he was like 4 or 5 years older. So, I mean, it's better than Andrew Garfield, who was like nearly 30 playing a teenager. So, at least finally, they've got somebody the right age to play Spider-Man. As I said, his place in the MCU is very cemented in. I'm excited to see him in Infinity War. It's just, I don't know, all these Marvel movies, I'm like, ah. The next film is Dunkirk. Allied soldiers from Belgium, the British Empire and France are surrounded by the German army and evacuated during a fierce battle in World War II. I am a really huge fan of war films in general, specifically like World War II films and the First World War. And this obviously wasn't as much action-y based as Saving Private Ryan because it was an evacuation process. Dunkirk is something I was aware that had happened. I knew that obviously the German army had got the Britain and our allies trapped on the shore. I, however, didn't realise how much, everyday people helped to evacuate the soldiers out. So it was a learning curve for me because I wasn't aware to the degree of what it was, and I think people kind of see Dunkirk as a disaster, and if anything, it's anything but a disaster. It's you know, everyday citizens helping soldiers and, you know, getting in their own boats and sailing to Dunkirk, because that's one of my favourite things is, I don't know, Gilderoy Lockhart, he does have a name, Sir Kenneth Branagh, his character, you know, is like, oh, you can almost see it, because if you stand on the coastline of France, you can usually see Dover. I think it's 26 miles or something like that away. That's how, you know, close. And it's like, you can almost see it. And it's that when you're so close yet so far away from home. Christopher Nolan did something really, really interesting with this film though, and had 3 kind of different timelines. Had 3 different timelines because he showed it from the land, from the soldiers that were just basically sitting ducks. He had it from the sea, so the people who were going out to save and people who were also trying to escape, and he also had it from the air, and these were all from different timelines. And at first it did take my brain a little bit to kind of go, oh, and I knew that going in, that they showed it from the air, the land and the sea. Still going in knowing that it took me a while, so I feel like the second time I watch it, it will be a lot better because I'm like, right, okay. But it was just a phenomenal film. Harry Styles is in it. Harry Styles says the only 2 swear words in the film. Kenneth Branagh's a babe. Tom Hardy. I need to say more. Like, it's just, I feel like if you like war films, you'll like this film. It's a good one. Detroit. This one's a heavy one. Amidst the chaos of the 1967 Detroit Rebellion, with the city under curfew and the Michigan National Guard patrolling the streets, 3 young African-American men were murdered at the Algiers motel. Basically, I watched an interview with Catherine Bigelow, and it was something along the lines of, so it starts kind of in, like, as the town, and then it slowly, as the movie goes on, you're going progressively smaller and smaller until it's in, like, basically a room. And that was quite cool about the film. The film as a whole is It's awful in the best kind of sense of that word. Obviously that was in 1967. That's, things like that happened in my mum's lifetime. Things like that are happening now. And that's what kind of is enlightening and terrifying about the film, because it's kind of very much like a horror film, how obviously it goes bigger, smaller, smaller, smaller. That's how I believe horror films are set out. I don't really know. I hate horror films. And it's terrifying. It's utterly, utterly terrifying that people think that way, that people can treat other people that way just because they have different coloured skin. And yeah, it's a heartbreaking movie. Will Poulter, who plays a Detroit policeman in the film, is truly awful. He's a horrible person in this film, and if Will doesn't get nominated for something, it's a travesty, because as I said, he was horrible. Like, it was scary. And obviously John Boyega is in it, loads of Anthony Mackie's in it. It's very enlightening. It's very terrifying, and it opens your eyes really to what black people have to go through, and as an ally, what we have to do to stand up to these bigots, to these fascists, to the people who think that just because of the colour of your skin it determines who you are, and that you are lesser than somebody or more than somebody. We need to stand up for the people that can't speak up for themselves. And yeah, as I said, it's deep. So the next one, I'm going a bit lighter, and it's The Hitman's Bodyguard, featuring starring Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. World's top bodyguard gets a new client, a hitman who must testify at the International Court of Justice. They must put their differences aside and work together to make the trial on time. This is kind of like a buddy cop movie. It's these two people who kind of utterly detest one another, who kind of have tried to kill each other several times before, and are just kind of trying to get there to the International Justice Court alive together. And it's just so funny. Ryan Reynolds is great, Samuel L. Jackson's great. It's just, yeah, it's just a good laugh. And if you like Samuel L. Jackson movies and Ryan Reynolds movies where they're swearing and funny and it's action, then you'll like this film. Like, I don't know what more to say. It's just a good laugh. And obviously I saw that after seeing Detroit. That's also another good thing about the Cineworld Unlimited card. Plug, plug, plug. Wish I was Spawn. Not Spawn, but please Spawn. You get to go see screenings of films. Usually it's only a couple of days. However, with Detroit, I got to see it 2 weeks before anybody else. Well, I mean, other Cineworld Unlimited people got to see it 2 weeks before, but we got to see it 2 weeks before it was on general release in the UK. So just a thing. It's £17.90 a month, and the way cinema tickets are at the moment, I don't know about you, it's £11 one time. So if you go twice a month, you've paid for this unlimited card. Next we'll go on to is music, and it's the Baby Driver soundtrack. That has some bangers, mate, bangers in it. I don't know, I feel like as soon as you finish watching Baby Driver, you're like, I need that soundtrack in my life. It's good. So there we go. And the second music is Miley Cyrus. Everybody's on about like T Swift with Look What You Made Me Do, Look What You Made Me Do. That being said, I've listened to it twice. I watched the lyric video and then I watched the music video, and I think the music video is true artistry. I'm not the biggest fan of the song, but I still catch myself, look what you made me do, look what you made me do, look what you made me, look what you made me. I like country Taylor Swift personally, and there's I obviously, cause a hater's gonna hate, hey, 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 shake it off, but my favourite T Swift is country T Swift, just because I love country. So, but yeah, everybody's on about T Swift and like Katy Perry and goes swish, swish, bish. Another one in the basket. I think I prefer Katy Perry's very slightly. But yeah, anyway, everybody's on about that. And Miley Cyrus has put up an actual bop called Younger Now, and I love it. I love Miley Cyrus. I didn't like Miley. I liked Wrecking Ball, but that phase, shall we say, was not the biggest fan. Miley Cyrus has always been one of those people I absolutely love, and I think she's truly super talented. Like, she has a phenomenal voice, and whenever anybody goes, but have you heard this, huh? I challenge you, listen to her singing Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Listen to her singing Jolene. I may even put the link in the description because I think everybody needs to hear it, because she is so freaking talented, and I love Miley. Team Miley. Hashtag Team Miley. Yes, and Younger Now is just great, and I'm so happy she's happy. The next TV, Game of Thrones. Can we just? Oh my god. I have all the emotions. I will not say anything spoilery. I have all the emotions. Just all the emotions. I'm very happy. Somebody's back in Westeros. I've been saying for the past like 3 seasons where he is, and now he's back, and I'm like, bitch, please, yes, 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 yes. Next is a show called Rain. It's actually just finished, but I only just started watching it this summer, and literally within 2 weeks I'd watched 2 seasons, because I'm like, I am hooked. I've kind of slowed myself down because Teen Wolf's back. Teen Wolf has been back, so I slowed myself down. Yeah, it's about Mary Queen of Scots, before, you know, she by Elizabeth, but it's kind of about Mary Queen of Scots when she was younger, and it's a very interesting part of history that we don't really learn about in school. And I think, oh, Binksy boy, hello Binks, hi. Obviously I think there's some mystical elements or twistings of the truth, but overall it's great. Next is, I've got 4 beauty things. This is a NYX. It's called Two Timer. Now, I use the Kat Von D eyeliner. I'm a big fan of that. But if you want a cheaper alternative, oh, wrong end. This also has the felt tip nib. However, one thing I will say is that it's a lot more stiff than the Kat Von D. Kat Von D I would say is more like a paintbrush. This is definitely more like a felt tip. I find Kat Von D is a lot easier, but for a cheaper alternative that has that, and then also the kind of eyeliner I like, which is a twisty twist, you can't argue, and it's NYX, so it's cruelty free. So I thought I'd pop that in. I've been kind of doing the wing and everything because I find it easier with Kat Von D, just kind of doing that and then going over this. Next is, I've mentioned Aveeno last time, but then I've discovered, although Aveeno is very expensive and I only get it when it's like on offer, Aveeno, again, this is Daily Moisturising Yogurt Body Wash, and it's apricot and honey, and my god, it smells so good. It's great. I love it. There we go. The next is Fudge Urban Salt Spray. I basically got this because I usually use a mixture of Bleach London and when my hair's wet, because I only wash my hair twice a week, so when my hair's wet I use a mixture of Bleach London and VO5. This kind of does both. It kind of, instead of, I just use one instead, and it's great, but they didn't have Bleach London, so I got this. This is quite expensive. I got it when it was on offer, and it smells of coconut. Ha! And then Child's Farm. This has saved my hands. They still look quite dry, but trust me, this is my hands looking good. and it's all because of Child's Farm. It's really helped my hands in that horrible eczema state, and it's very mildly fragranced, which is good. But yeah, it's kind of honestly like a super yay Child's Farm. So yeah, they're all of my summer favourites. Join me in about 3 months for my winter favourites. If I have any, it'll probably just be films and music, because I probably will not buy anything else that is beauty based, because I'm cheap. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much for watching. Bye!